Yeah, I'll start it. Hey, it's me. Welcome to the Accounting 240 first weekly virtual session. How's everybody doing out there in radio land? No, how's everybody? How you guys doing today? I'll read the comments. Make some comments. Let me know how you're doing out there. Nothing. Great. Okay, that's good. That's a good start. Now we're going downhill. Good. That's not quite as good. Things are going well. I like to hear that. That's positive. Good. Busy. Sure. Fabulous. Oh, well, that's where we want to go to, right? No one's going to have a better day than Christine today. She's doing fabulous. That's what I like to hear, a little enthusiasm. First week, overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie, Sandra Smith, I'm underwhelmed by this first week. I have lots to do, but I find it quite underwhelming. So here we are together. Welcome, everybody, to Accounting 240. This is the Introduction to Taxation course. And I will, yeah, we're all a little exhausted. We're going to run through, basically I'm going to talk through a bit of the course outline today. I'll introduce myself. I'll introduce the course for those of you who didn't watch the video. I'm not going to redo the entire video, but I will go through the PowerPoint and highlight some things maybe I didn't get a chance to emphasize in that video itself. I'll walk through D2L a little bit with you guys so people know where stuff is. People seem confused about where stuff is. I'm going to show you where you should submit that Simranjit Singh, I'm going to ask you this question. I want to know if you watched the course outline video. Did you? I'll wait. Did you? Okay, so yeah, so there you go. So what I'm going to try and encourage you guys to do is actually watch the videos I prepared before I show up, because this is the only time I'm going to show up and like quote unquote lecture on things. Okay. This is the only time I'm doing it. My expectation going forward is that you will have watched all the lectures in advance of our meeting. I will not be showing up here and lecturing on tax. That is not what this course is. This is a blended model where I will discuss some tax-related items, but I will not lecture. There's just no way I can get the course content into 2 hours. Plus, this is not what I specifically, explicitly describe to people. I would not be the administration that I wouldn't be lecturing into a screen. I just can't do it. I cannot do it. So, yeah, we'll get to that question about the quizzes. But also, the course has been live for a couple days now. My expectation would have been that at the absolute bare lowest minimum, you would have watched that one video I prepared introducing you to the course. But that's okay, you haven't. You're here now, and we're going to pick it up from here, and I'll answer all your questions, okay? Okay, it's fine to ask questions that were answered in the videos that I meticulously prepared for you. It's no problem. I don't mind at all. So let's get on with stuff. So I will do a quick introduction to myself. My name is Ryan. Hi, how's it going? I'm a CPA, a chartered professional accountant. I trained as a CA, I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Who can keep track these days? I trained at a Big Four accounting firm in Vancouver called Ernst & Young. And I worked there, and I also worked in Stockholm, Sweden, which, look, guys, if you're debating at this point, you're like in second year or whatever, and you're like, I wonder if I should go into accounting. Is this the thing for me? Well, I can't tell you if it is, Billy. I don't know if it's the thing for you, but I can tell you that it's a job for which there is always work. You will always be employed. You don't walk around in downtown Victoria and people are like, CPA will work for food. Like, there's always an abundance of work out there, to the extent where I'm frequently turning down work, right? Which I'm more than happy to do, but there's always stuff to do. And being a CPA has allowed me to do like literally anything I wanted to in my life. I travel a lot. So look, I'll get into, I'm not going to go into a really exhaustive introduction here, but like I have a biology degree. I got that many years ago. And then I decided I was going to get into accounting because I had some friends doing it. I thought I was good at math, and I was really introverted. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm good at math. I can sit in a corner and do little math-related things. That's not what accounting is at all. So if that's what you're looking forward to, that's not going to be your life. Accounting is a very, very, very people-oriented business. And those of you out there who are adept or have decent people skills are going to do the best at the accounting job. Basically, what you're doing all the time is dealing with other humans, people who are working below you, with you, above you, people who are your clients, government officials, etc. You are always in meetings and having conversations with people. So it is not a solitary job, and it is not necessarily for the introvert. Now, that said, demographically, a large percentage of people who go into accounting are self-described introverts, or people who don't really much care for confrontation. That's cool. I mean, there's still a home for you here, for sure. But I would try to get out of that shell as you move forward through accounting, because if you expect that you're going to be limited in terms of your personal interaction, it's not true. So anyway, that was a rude awakening for me. And then could I slow down? This is just kind of the pace I speak. I guess I could try, but I am going to record this. So if it's too fast for you, and plus none of this information is really relevant, but if it's too fast, you guys, you can go back and play it on YouTube at like a slowed down pace or something like that. I'll do my best, but hey, check that out. That's my second giant mug of caffeinated beverage for the morning. This is a chai latte. So when it comes to actual pertinent course information, I'll go as slow as possible. But when I'm just rambling through my introduction, it's probably the speed we're going to have it at. So I appreciate the feedback. At any rate, I became an accountant, like I said, 15 years ago, and I started working in education 10 years ago now. This is my 10-year anniversary being an instructor at a college. I worked at BCIT and I've worked at Camosun for 7 years, and it's the best job I've ever had by an absolute landslide. I really love where I work. The job is so much fun. Also, I get like 5 months off a year, which is a fantastic way to live your life. It's not about your money, guys. It's about your time. I will never have another job other than this job because I love this job so much. In addition to doing, I also work for CPA Canada. Oh, thank you, though. It's amazing. It's the only thing I've probably ever done for 10 years. That's a really nice thing to hear from you. You'd think the school would have congratulated me, but oh, is that a passive aggressive or micro aggressive comment there? The school's really nice to me too. I know, I'm goofing around. So yeah, 10 years I've been in doing education. I just realized like I needed to find something that accounting as an actual job I never found particularly interesting. And look, be honest with yourself, guys. You've been in accounting for this long now. Is it interesting? Like, is it something that you go and tell your loved ones about? Like, I debited and credited the hell out of this account today. No, that's not intrinsically amazing. There's only one movie about accountants, guys, and it's about Ben Affleck, and he's not an accountant at all. He just blows people away with like a sniper rifle. So it's not intrinsically super interesting. However, like I said, it's a good job. It can be a decently paid job. All right. There's always work for you. So those are the good things I can say about accounting. But I was at the point in my life where I was like, yeah, I'm not a desk job guy. I'm not a guy who wants to sit at a desk. So I got into the educational aspect of it, and I love it. And then, so do I love this, what we're doing right now? I mean, I could do it from my home, I suppose. I like what isn't in accounting. I don't know what that means. Uh, that said, I still like interacting with students very, very much, so I'm hoping the interaction in this course can be quite high. And I do love teaching, and I insisted. So guys, I was supposed to be on a year off this year. Yes, I was celebrating my 10 years as an instructor, but I took a full sabbatical for a year, and I was supposed to be in Kenya right now climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and then I was going to be back next year. But because of COVID, of course, that's not happening. So here I am, and this is exciting. I'm glad that the school was able to find some room for me, but I said if I'm coming back, I insist on teaching tax. It's the only course I want to teach because I like teaching it because it's actually interesting to me. What, you say to yourself? Tax sounds horrible. It sounds like my worst nightmare. Well, if it is your worst nightmare, you should probably pursue a different profession. But if it's just something that you're a little bit intimidated about, then don't be intimidated by it. Because listen, having some knowledge of this subject, which I can help guide you through, I've literally taught this course for 10 years. I couldn't be terrible at it. They would have fired me by now, right? Wouldn't they have fired me? That's what I have to tell myself. I think I understand the subject material, and I think I do my best to be able to explain it. Now, if I'm not explaining it well, you guys can always request further clarification from me. That's what I'm here for. 24/7, I'm just sitting around my computer waiting for you guys to email me. So I said I wanted to teach tax. Tax is dynamic, meaning that tax changes every year. Income Tax Act provisions and tax regulations change on an annual basis with our annual federal budgets. And they're tied very largely to which government, which political party is in power. And a lot of times political parties implement their social policies through the Income Tax Act. So every time that we do see that there's a federal election, you'll see a lot of conversation about how the income tax and taxes are going to change. And people can win or lose elections based on what they're planning on doing with the Income Tax Act. So that in and of itself is very interesting. It also requires, because it changes so frequently, that we update the textbook on an annual basis. Why? Just to rip you guys off? Just because we want money from you? Well, I got to tell you guys, I don't have a slice of the publishing pie. Do I like teaching some courses like intro accounting, as an offshoot sometimes once in a while? Yeah, because I don't have to prepare for 5 minutes for it because intro accounting is dead easy, and it hasn't changed in the 15 or 20 years that I've been an accountant, whereas tax changes on an annual basis, which is why we require you to buy new textbooks, because the actual piece of government legislation that you are learning about changes every year. and on an ongoing basis. It's a dynamic work in progress. It's like the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. Maybe they'll finish it someday, but they're probably not going to finish it someday. This is why you need a new book, okay? Now, thankfully for you guys, you don't need a textbook this year, right? We've created this course pack for you, which is a painstaking process for your instructors to update, and occasionally has some things that are a little outdated because it's very hard to keep on top of what's happening in the income tax world, because it does change. Even after we've published the course pack, it can change as well. So anyhow, I'm back teaching tax, and it's my favorite thing to teach. If I was going to teach this semester, it was going to be teaching tax, and it's going to be teaching tax to you guys. So I hope you're excited about it. I know I sit here and I make my smart ass comments, but like, I'm genuinely excited to have this job, and this is just going to be like an interesting, this sort of nervousness about teaching online manifests itself through probably like, snarky comments, but don't take those personally, okay? None of them are ever directed at you. They're directed at the situation that we're all in here, where I'm doing my favorite job that I love from my, I don't know, what is this, my playroom, my Lego room here? So let's carry on then. That was me. If you guys want to know anything more about me, I'm going to walk through the course outline video right now and just highlight some areas that you may have missed, because it sounds like a lot of people didn't watch that video. They didn't watch it, but that's okay, because we're going to walk through it right now. I'm glad you didn't watch it. That'll make this session all the more meaningful. Before I get started, though, what I really would like to say for the mandatory, I sent out an email to everybody, probably to some people to 2 email addresses, and I also posted on the news board a mandatory requirement for you to indicate that you're attending. And that's not showing up to this. I'm not keeping attendance here. I can't do it. There's too many things going on. It would require me to sit here for 15 minutes and write down all your names. That's not happening. There's a mandatory requirement to submit into the assignments folder an introduction. I have 20 people who still haven't done it. I have people emailing this to me. I have people putting it into the discussion boards. The instructions, and I'm going to go through the instructions with you guys. You are to put this into the assignments folder in a Word document. So I'll show you where that is and where it goes. And I'm telling you right now, if you haven't done it and you're confused, the deadline is tonight. If you don't show up in there, you are getting dropped from the course. I hope we're clear. This is the 3rd time I've had to kind of go through this now, so I hope it's clear to everybody. If you have questions at the end of the session about that, I will encourage you. That's great. You guys don't need to tell me if you did it. It's totally fine. Right? I will find out if you did it by checking the assignments thing, okay? If you didn't do it, or if you have questions, then absolutely show up on the chat and let me know. Okay, so guys, I'm still like navigating my way through how Blackboard works. So I'm gonna share screen now, and then I'm going to, let's see here, I'm gonna run through my little course intro video, but before I even get started on actually, you know what, I'm gonna do the course intro video first. I was gonna say any questions, but a lot of them are gonna be answered in the course intro video. So I'm gonna get that fired up. So be patient. I'm gonna try and share things with you by sharing screens. Oh, it's in here, guys. Okay, there. I hope it's working. Guys, is it working? There it is. Okay, I'm gonna just go and open my window because it's really hot in here, okay? It's really hot. So there we go, and then we'll do that. And it sounds like you guys are still with me. And I got my chat going. You guys can see it. Okay, super. So give me half a sec, okay? Ooh, so hot. I'll be right back. I'm coming. Everybody sit tight. Formulate some fun questions. I'm actually going to get this fan to put next to me as well, because like, geez, guys, this apartment gets so much sunlight, and I'm just sweltering. Ooh. This is the part of the live classroom where I would pause and I would open all the windows. Oh, I'm back. Okay, cool. So, guys, here's the course introduction and outline video. If you haven't watched this, please do. But if maybe, okay, I'm gonna try and just zoom things around here, and then we're good. Okay. So I'm not going to, honestly, I'm not going to go through line by line on PowerPoint. Just my outlook on PowerPoint in general is it's like a lazy way to teach things, and it's not something I generally rely on in my classes. But you know, there's only so few mediums that we have to interact with you guys out here. So we've got these sweet PowerPoints, and I sort of animated them. I'm not going to read through every bullet point on a PowerPoint deck because that's also terrible teaching. All right. So this is Accounting 240. Look, I told you already why I find this interesting. Accounting is going to affect, you know, let's say you're taking accounting and you become an accountant. Well, maybe like 5% of people that like an actual accounting transaction will ever affect them in their entire lives. With audit, it's even smaller than that. It's just something that's so unrelatable. If you don't believe me, go out to your next social event or a party and tell them about your auditing class and see how many friends you make. See if you get that phone number from that person that you're trying to chat up when you tell them about audit. It's not going to happen. Now, the same thing will probably happen with tax, but then you can turn around and say, well, guess what? You have to pay tax. You literally have paid tax like 5 times today. As far as income tax is concerned, anybody who's living here, anybody who I'm talking to right now who is a Canadian resident, are you a resident or not? We'll find out in later videos, has to pay tax. So you are subject to this. You are subject to this once you die as well. If you think that you can escape taxes upon death, no, that's the one thing that's following you into whatever form of the afterlife you believe, is that the estate of you is going to have to file a tax return after you die. So this is something that is absolutely essential to everybody understanding something about. And what's great about it is the vast majority of the population does not understand it at all. We're subject to it. It's like government legislation, but most people don't understand the first thing about it. Perfect. Because what does that mean? If you understand even a little bit about it, or after this course a lot, you can charge people and they will pay you money to do things that they don't understand, right? I assume that's why you're all here, right? That's why you're all in university, because you want somebody to pay you to do things for them, right? At the bottom line of all of this is like, you're trying to learn things that people will pay you money for. This is why I don't understand when people want to learn like the fewest things humanly possible in their courses. That's something that's an attitude that even if you're thinking it, it drives me nuts when you express it. Because the more things that you know, the more things that people are going to be willing to pay you to do. And tax is one of those things. Because, oh my God, try bringing this up at a party. Mention that you're taking a tax course sometimes. Because I have to tell people it's what I do for a living. And boy, oh boy, bleh, their brain just turns into a puddle of goo. Like their eyes glaze over. They're thinking about anything else other than tax. And I'm like, sweet, I can charge this person $3 for a tax return and they're not going to bat an eyelash because they don't know anything about it. Cool, cool. So if we understand tax consequences, we can help people make decisions. We can help ourselves make decisions as well. This course is focused on personal tax. Hopefully, if this is where you're going with your life, you can join us again for Accounting 375, which is corporate tax. Corporate tax. But this course doesn't talk about corporations really almost at all. Okay. You can start capitalizing on anything anytime you want. And if that means like, can you start charging people money to do tax related things for them by the end of this course? You can start charging them that right now. You need to know like 5 more things than other people do. Can you start charging people to do tax returns? You'll have more experience filling out a tax return at the end of this course than 94% of the population of Canada. So if you can just tap into those 94% and you want to find really easy tax returns, sure, you could do that. Now, am I advising you to do that? No, because if you don't know what you're doing and you get sued, that's expensive. But that doesn't mean you couldn't find somebody who's willing to hire you to put that into use. So you could, in effect, capitalize on that. If you walk into some accounting firm and say, hey, I know how to prepare a tax return, guess what? There's a way higher chance you're going to get hired, and that's something that you can do as a skill set that the vast majority of Canadians can't do. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the majority of people who I'm talking to right now, I am talking fast. The 38 of you who are listening, how many are listening? Who can say? But the majority of you have probably never filled out your own tax return. Many people have their parents do it. Many people are new to Canada. Many people don't make any money. Cool. Okay. That is kind of what I'm talking about here, is that most people don't know how to do this, but you're gonna after this course. So I'm gonna move on a little bit now. I already talked about me, blah, blah, blah. That's my, am I yelling? That's my office telephone number. I don't know why I yell a little bit. There's my office telephone number. Don't call it. There's nobody there. My office is empty. It's just full of Lego right now and like empty boxes. That's where my office is, but you won't need to know that this semester. That's how to get in touch with me through email, guys. Please email me through D2L if I hadn't mentioned this already. I do have an email address in Outlook. If you email me there, you know, I'll eventually answer you. But that email is largely reserved for administrative people. Like the dean will email me there, the assistant dean, the dean's secretary, various other administrative people, other faculty. So I tend to ignore those mails as long as I can. If you guys are mailing me, you're the people that I care about. You're the reason that I come to work, right? It's not so I can deal with the dean. It's so I can teach people things about tax, things that I like. So I want to get your messages fastest. I want you guys to message me in D2L. You can do it the other way, but then I have to type out can you please email me in D2L and tack it on at the end of your email. So it's cool. I'm never going to be mad about it, but it's going to slow down the process for everybody. And you want to get your answers as fast as possible. So that's how you want to email me. There's no office hours. I don't know what to do. There's no office hours, right? So if you guys feel the need to discuss things with me, if you reach out to me and you want to set up like like a 15, 20-minute Zoom conversation. I don't know if we're allowed to do Zoom. I got to look into that. But like even this, collaborate, like I can make myself available if you give me some time to do that. I don't have a set time because I find that in an online course like this, many people are working. People are looking after kids. Maybe people have COVID. I don't know. I can't put out like here's when that time the office hour is going to be and expect that anyone's going to show up, because I've done that with courses like this in the past and it's just crickets. It's me and a bunch of crickets and tumbleweeds and it's super dead. So if you want to meet with me, take advantage of my offer, email me and say, hey man, what do you do in the next couple days? You got 15 minutes? And I'll be like, no problem, Sally, or whoever you are. Okay, is that all right? I hope it's all right. And you can always email me questions as well. Instead of sometimes email, if you've got like a general question, if there's a specific question you need to ask me, I'm all for it. But if there's a question that you think could be of even remote benefit to anybody else in the course, and I'm going to say that's like 99% of your questions, put them up on the discussion board. That way when I answer them, right, then everybody else can read that answer and that information is not just between you and me. Also, if it's like an exam related question, I can't answer that in an email. I can answer that on a discussion board where everybody can see it and everyone has that information, but I can't answer your personal questions about the exam in a forum that's not, inclusive of everybody. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to be reasonable with my policies here and not give anyone like insider information. Okay, there's LinkedIn. I don't know. I used to get way more uptake on LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys have made a LinkedIn profile yet. And if you're sort of dismissing it as, well, I just like TikTok, I don't like LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn is the professional social network, and it's something that, even though it's kind of full of ads now and people are bombarding you with like recruitment stuff all the time, I do think it's valuable, and I will, you don't have to add me if you don't want, but look, if you haven't made a LinkedIn profile at this point in your, you're in second year post-secondary at a business school, do it, all right? I'm not the biggest social media guy, but like, do it, okay? Didn't have a choice. Good. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you guys did it. That's smart. So if you want, just like, and I'm not going to try and bore you guys with personal anecdotes, but hey, I've been working at Camosun College for 7 years. Did I apply at Camosun College? Not really. I just have a funny picture. See, it's that picture of me on the swing set there, which is very dated now, as you can tell by looking at me and then comparing it immediately with that picture. That's got to be 10 years old, all right? Behold, the ravages of time. It's happening to you guys. It's going to happen to you as well. So be kind in your commentary, because I get so many people in class who are like, who's that guy? That guy's not you. There's no way that's the same guy. Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks. That person always goes way up in my estimation. Thanks, smartass. So the picture on there is kind of funny because it's got I'm on like a swing set or something like that. And Carrie Norrie saw that picture. She knew me from my work at CPA. Carrie Norrie is sort of a big deal. She's an FCPA and an FCA, and she was for a long time the chair of the department, and she still instructs at the school. She's moving towards retirement probably at some point in the next little while, but she just saw, she was the chair at the time, she saw my picture and she's like, Ryan, I think your picture is so funny. It's great. And I said, thanks, Carrie. Can I come work at your school? And then Carrie said, yeah, I guess so, sure. What do you want to teach? And I said, well, I want to teach tax and advanced accounting. And she said, when can you start? And I said, September. And that is by virtue of the fact that I had something even moderately interesting on LinkedIn. So am I telling you it's going to happen to you? No. But did it make a big difference in my life? Sure. So that's my little plug for LinkedIn. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's my Instagram account. Yeah, I know. It seems like shameless personal shilling if I'm coming on here and giving you my Instagram account. I'm not asking you to follow me on Instagram, and I won't follow you back if you don't want me to do that. But I do travel a lot, so here's what I do in my free time, and this is the last little piece of information about me, is that I have 5 months off a year. I generally spend most of that time traveling. That's been difficult this year. However, this summer I did take a 2-week kayaking trip where I kayaked solo from Nanaimo to Victoria. I took a 2-week bicycling touring trip where I went up to Cortes Island, Savory Islands, all up there just on a bicycle. I did go to Norway for 3 weeks this year. I also went to London, and I'm currently in quarantine, guys. That's right. I'm trapped in this apartment. Yeah, 2 more days. 2 more days and I could get out again. This is why I'm so pasty white. So students in the past have asked me if they can follow me on Instagram, and I don't care. I don't know why you'd want to, but it's there if you want to, and that's it. That's the last thing I'm going to say about that. It's just pictures of mountains. All right, so let's see. Course mats. This is where you guys are probably going to be more interested. Is there required text? The answer to that is nope. What's the difference between no and nope? Nope is saying no, but you're happy about it. Required text? Nope. Do you want to come to my party? Nope. It's just like no with like a positive spin on it. So there isn't a required text for this course. There's a course pack that was developed by your Camosun tax instructors, myself, Kathy Ross. Oh, thanks. You can use that. It was developed by myself, Kathy Ross, and Brock, whom you may or may not have heard of. He's long since moved on to greener pastures, but he was like a grumpy old guy. He's not old. He's like my age. He looked old, though. A grumpy guy who used to work at the college who's my friend. Okay. So D2L is going to be used extensively throughout the course. Yeah, how else am I going to communicate with you guys? If you're not checking D2L all of the time, you're going to be missing out on stuff. To the extent where literally, if you're not checking the D2L that I posted about the mandatory attendance thing, you will be dropped from the course. So you need to be on top of it with D2L. So profile, gosh, guys, I think I can draw. Wait. Guys. Yes, this is going to be so cool. Okay. That's right, guys. Welcome to Technology 101, Advanced Technological Educational Techniques. So there's a profile. Guys, this is a tax software that you're going to be using. Download the Pulse app, makes accessing. Yeah, there's no way guys, that's a great suggestion from Sandra Smith there. I'll never access D2L from my phone in my entire life. When I'm out and I'm away from the computer, that's not work time for me. That's over. But hopefully that makes, because I do find D2L super clunky on the phone. So that's an interesting tidbit there, Sandra. That said, I'm never accessing D2L from my phone. It sounds awful. So profile, guys, profile is a software that we're going to use to prepare tax returns in, especially that T1 that we're going to be doing towards the later of the year, towards the end of the year. It's also where you're going to prepare T4s and T5s and GST. So as we get a little bit, no, that's cool, Sandra. I appreciate it. That's super helpful. No, I wasn't. This was not me being critical. This is me announcing my disdain for the Desire to Learn website. So profile is going to be something, I'll give you some instructions very soon on how you can download profile. You do not need it yet for anything. This course isn't specifically a course on tax preparation. It is a course on tax theory with some tax preparation thrown in on the side, because that's what Carlena, is it Carlena or Carlena? You know, it's tough for me to say, but she was asking about capitalizing on things. Well, Carly, sure, I can do that. Okay, so this is what Carly was asking about. Can she capitalize on stuff? Well, if you know how to actually prepare tax returns, T4s, T5s, GST returns, then you do actually have a valuable skill set. Tax theory is all fine and dandy, but until you practically apply it, it's like more for like fun trivia at parties or something along those lines, okay? So the actual practical application of what we do in here will be through these projects, which I'll talk about, for which you will need profile, which I will tell you how to get soon, okay? You don't need it now. You just need to learn some things now. So I need to go to the next slide. Guys, here's the course evaluation. Could you please tell us about the Proctorio? I don't know anything about the Proctorio software, so the answer is no, I can't tell you about it. When I get to that part of the presentation, I'll tell you what I know about it, which is literally nothing, okay? So for now, I'm just gonna keep moving through the course evaluation, but I appreciate the question. I just don't know anything about it. We've got the projects that you guys are gonna have. There's the T4, the T5, and the GST. Now, I say projects because that's like a term that we use, but these aren't really projects. These are data entry. And I won't say mindless data entry, but it's as close to that as we get. you are filling out a form. If anyone's familiar with the T4 form, it simply is we're going to put a bunch of numbers and your name and a social insurance number on a form. You guys will fill out a few of those in profile, and then you'll submit them to me so that I can review 1,000 T4s. I will mostly, for those assignments or projects, if you want to call them, let's call them projects, be looking to see that you completed them and they're not horribly wrong. As long as you completed them and they're pretty close, I'll give you the marks for them, because there is no way, if I assign 4 T4s and there's 70 of you, I mean, boy, am I going to read 280 T4s and detail mark 10 line items on them? Nope, I just want you guys to get a sense of what it's like to fill out one of these forms. So as long as you're close, I'll give you the marks for those things, but you have to hand them in on time, and I'll talk about that in a sec. So those projects are very easy, and they constitute 10% of the course material. The T1 project, this is great. You know, this is a little bit of work, but it's really just you getting familiar with the software. And then again, most people's tax returns are simply a matter of data entry and you knowing where to put the data that you've received, all the variables, and you knowing I've got a bunch of information, which of this information needs to go into the software and which of this information can I ignore? And that's where we start to, through the theory that we're learning, be able to apply it practically. So T1 project, I also consider to be quite easy. The marks on that are usually quite high. I'm going to do as best as I can to prep you for that. But all these projects are like a little ways down the line. We need to learn some theory before we can do any of this stuff. So this is going to require a profile. But we'll talk about that when we get closer to the projects. Okay, there's the midterm, it's 35%, and the final exam is 45%. I've got slides on both of those things. Quizzes. Hey, whoever was asking me about quizzes, if you had gotten to slide, what slide number is this? Like 6 in this thing, it would have said that quizzes are optional. So what does that mean? I always wonder what that question means. Like, if the quiz is optional, does that mean you're not going to do it? So do you want to come out of the course knowing as little as humanly possible? I have no idea. I would suggest that people do them. They're found in D2L under quizzes. We took the time to prepare these things for you so that you would know more things, not that you would, so that you would get more marks on things, so that you would be better when you went out to try and find a job. So they're based on the assigned readings in the course pack. Sometimes there's once in a while there's a question in there that's like, we never learned this, in which case just press just click past it. It doesn't matter because they're not for marks, right? But it does give you a bit of an assessment on your progress, and it gives you an idea of like, hey, do I know what I'm doing? If you have read all the course pack readings and you've done the attempted problem, then you go and you write those quiz questions and you get them all wrong, something hasn't clicked for you, right? So it is a generally decent assessment of how you're doing. I would take advantage of literally every resource that you have in front of you, given that we've got this limited interaction. And I'm limited in terms of my ability to assist you because I'm physically not present. I could be a ghost or a hologram for all you know. Like, do I even exist? It's impossible. I could be artificial intelligence, this whole thing. I mean, I think you'd give me like a better hair or something like that if I was supposed to be a manifestation of like the ultimate accounting instructing teacher, but tax teacher. But anyway, these quizzes, I'm going to recommend that you do them. Okay, and I'm going to come back later on about how you can be successful in the course. And to be successful in the course, you need to take advantage of literally every resource that we provide for you in this sort of limited and awkward setting. Okay, all right. Why don't I pause? I've talked so much, guys. This is what's hard about this for me, is talking so much and not having anybody rudely interrupt me in the class like I'm so used to. Kidding. I love it when people ask questions in the class, but we don't have that here, right? We just have like a little thing will show up on the right. And I'm like, oh, what's that? Oh, someone wants to talk to me. So I'll stop for a couple minutes and see if anyone has any general questions about anything we've talked about so far. If we haven't talked about it yet, might be coming, okay? And then if we get to the end of the video and we haven't talked about it, then it's just a free-for-all and you can ask me anything you want. So I'm just gonna wait and see if, I hope people have some questions about anything. If we can't make it this time, do you think we will be, do you think we will be disadvantaged? I have a full-time job. You mean if you can't come to the class? Do I think you'll be disadvantaged? I mean, I'm recording this and posting it, so you have to, I can't really answer. It's a fair question, Carly. I can't answer for you if this is beneficial to you being here, right? Do I think you'll be disadvantaged? I don't know. I don't know what to say. Given, I mean, the way you would be disadvantaged is if you had a number of questions that you wanted to ask, and then you weren't able to show up to ask them, and then you were never going to get the answers to those questions. But given the fact that I'm going to be recording these and posting them, I don't think you're missing anything. Now that said, if I do this from week to week and nobody shows up, I told you guys I'm not lecturing. I'm going to sit here for 5 minutes. If there's 0 people in the chat room, I'm just going to close it and there's going to be no recording for that week. So this happening is contingent upon people showing up. Does that make sense? Okay, so Lu Zhao says, sorry, I want to know the app for tracking the D2L. I don't know what that means. Is that the, oh, there it is. It's called Pulse. Pulse. I don't know what it is. I'm not advocating it. I've never heard of it, but 2 people in class have said that this is good for using D2L. So check it out, guys. I'm just going to have some chai latte. Okay, we'll talk about where you can access everything because I'll walk through D2L. Okay, is this everybody's first time on D2L? Have you guys used D2L before? It shouldn't be anybody's first time. Okay, so I will walk through the course with you. There's a lot of material on there, so I'll definitely get into doing a D2L walkthrough. But right now, I really have to. That's good. Most people have used it before. Right now, I'll just finish up, I guess, going through the course. Any questions about? Yeah, it is amazing. Any questions about anything we've discussed so far, you guys? Anything at all? Okay, so course pack stuff will come. We'll get to it. Okay, so weekly video content. Most weeks, not most weeks, all the weeks have supplemental video content. I have prepared dozens of videos, not quite 100. I'm pretty close to 100 videos. Now, some of them still need minor updates for 2020, but everything for this week and next week is 100% up to date. So these weeks are going to have video content. Guys, that video content, to me, I mean, I guess it's optional if you want it to be. I'm not going to make you watch it, but that is my lectures, okay? That's me talking about the subject. And that's me. I've ironed out the majority of the errors. Some of them are a little rocky because they're older in terms of their production value, but most of them are fairly comprehensive. I need to be clear with everybody right now if I haven't already, and if I haven't, then I apologize. That's my fault. I'm not showing up and lecturing every week. The lectures I have pre-recorded for you to watch. I expect you to watch those before you come to these. That's my expectation because I can't be answering questions that are answered directly in the lectures. Now, when it comes to doing problems, that's what I want to do when we get together. If I have however much time I have in these lectures with you guys, and it's what, 1 hour and 50 minutes or something like that, or 1 hour and a half, probably 1 hour and a half is the most I can talk for. That's when I'm going to be going through some problems. Me going through problems requires that you have done the reading, watched the videos, and attempted the problems. Otherwise, you're just watching me do stuff. I might as well be teaching a lesson on ancient Greek, right? Where I'm just writing out, here's my sentence structure in ancient Greek, and you've never heard of it before because it will make literally no sense to you, okay? So I'm happy to run through problems, and you're welcome to come and watch them if you have no background, but it will be incredibly difficult for you to follow what's going on. So that's my suggestion to you is you need to read the material in the course pack. You should also watch the lecture videos. I spent some time on them. Some of them are okay, all right? I did my best. I'm not a technological wizard. I didn't go to school to learn how to do these things. This is stuff I just figured out by myself because that's what happened to us, right? And so I'm rolling with it and I'm loving all of it. So that's what you guys have from week to week. If you guys think of a problem or something that you want me to go through and make a video on, I can do that. I can bang that out in 20 minutes. I'll run through a problem, make a video of it. I can post it on D2L. Easy. I'm going to do as many of those as I can because I have nothing else to do in the day. All those other, especially in quarantine, now's the time to hit me up, guys. I literally can't go anywhere. It's just me sitting here making videos for you guys, watching James Bond movies, all right? So the videos are, it says the videos aren't lectures, they walk through practice problems. That's more for 375. The videos have a lot of lecture material in them, so I should change that slide, I suppose, all right? But I will a lot of practice problems in the videos, and also there's lecture material in there as well. Before the sessions too, or is it okay to wait until we don't have a chance to? I would watch them before. I would 1000%, if you want my advice, I would watch them before. Can you watch them after? You can do anything in any iteration along the time-space continuum that you want, but I think you should watch them before. It's just like, I've taught for a long time now, and I always tell students, you should really do the reading before you come to class. And there's about 5 students out of 35 that do the reading. And I can always tell who those students are. You know how? Because they actually ask questions about like the concepts in class as opposed to just scrambling to try and catch up or not saying anything. Also, those are the students who always get A's, the students who have actually done the reading in advance. You can come to the lecture if you want, and I understand that things work differently for different people, okay? And I will admit, I was never one of the students who did the reading in advance. And now I look back on that person that I was, and I'm like, I hate you, you're the worst student, to me, because I just wasn't coming as prepared as I could have come to the classes. So guys, this is gonna be an awkward learning situation, and I'm sure many of you are nervous about it. If you want to give yourself the best chance to succeed, right? Do all of the things that you can do to succeed. If you come to me in 3 months and you're like, I'm doing really poorly in the course, and then I go through a list of things that I recommended that you do to succeed, and you didn't do them, in order to do really well in here, I would really suggest that. So I love the question. That's my recommendation. That said, whatever works for you in your schedule in the week, right? Like, these sessions are always going to be recorded, the little virtual get-togethers, so you can time your week. I wanted to do this so that you guys could time your week and work around your own schedule, so that you could work, or you could look after your kids, or you could go and pursue whatever, you know, pastimes that you enjoy, and you could work around, or the class would work around you effectively, right? And you could structure it like that. So, yeah, you know, it'll be kind of a fun process for you guys to go through and figure out what works best for you, okay? Just watching the videos though, if you're just watching my videos, that's not gonna be enough for the course. You need to do the reading in the course pack, right? That's where all like the information is. Now, do you have to wade through every piece of information in the course pack? No, there's a lot of stuff in there on filling out tax forms, which are only gonna be relevant to when you're doing the projects, but I'll talk more about that later. The chapters aren't very long, and we really took out a lot of extraneous information. This is a painstaking process to really narrow it down to what people needed to know. So the course pack readings aren't a lot. I always used to advise people, like, whatever you spend on a normal course, you're going to spend twice that on taxation. And people who didn't take me seriously would get to the end of the course and realize, oh man, why didn't I pay attention to that guy? It's as if he knew what he was talking about. Yeah, this course will take longer than most of your other courses, and you should be prepared for that, right? So here's the virtual gatherings. They're 12:30 Thursdays every single week. That's unlikely to change. If it does change, I'll let you know. If you can't make it to my changed time, I'm gonna record it and post it, so it shouldn't be a big deal. For the 1,000,000th time, attendance is optional. I'm not keeping track of attendance here. I don't care if you show up or not, other than if not enough people show up, it's gonna be a pretty short session. So if you want to come and participate, that would be great. I would also really encourage participation in these when I elicit participation. Otherwise, it's just me talking into a screen for a long time, and that can be tricky. So again, not lectures, I mentioned that already. These are scheduled for students in the blended section, which is DO2, but anyone can attend. Anyone in either of the sections can attend. And for the last time in my entire life, I'm not taking attendance, and you can show up or not. You're an adult. You can totally make that choice for yourself. I'll pause for some questions here related specifically to the material that we've already discussed. Anything, and then at the end, it will be a free-for-all about literally anything. Any other questions, guys? About stuff we've talked about at all? Anything, that would be, I'd love a question. I'm gonna not keep going until I get at least one question. It can be tax related or not, anything. Convince me that you have a pulse, somebody out there. Somebody, convince me you're alive. Any questions at all? Why do you have so much Lego? Well, I'm a grown man, I don't have any children, and I have tons of free time, and all the money that people spend on raising kids, I can spend on whatever I want. So, I don't know. I just buy Lego. I just like it. Look. I just got a new one. I just got it. Can't stop, won't stop. I'll tell you this, it's an expensive habit, but it's cheaper than, I don't know, heroin or whatever other people are doing. I'm glad I won't need to pay H&R Block $300 just to file investment income. No, I don't think you will. I think you'd be able to file your own tax return. Do you just have investment income? Best set of movies in the Star Wars series. Is that a question? Anyway, so good. At least somebody showed me they're alive. I'm going to move on now. Nobody wants to ask me anything. Gotcha. So no one wants to ask anything about the course. I'm going to move on then. Okay, so here's the course pack. So the course pack is in D2L. I don't know how to easily flip to D2L, so let's try it. Guys, can you see D2L now? Oh, look, there it is. I'm a technological giant. Okay, so guys, I'm going to go to, okay. My D2L site will look slightly different from your D2L site because you and I have different statuses in the eyes of the college. I'm an instructor and you're a student, so I have different access. So guys, here is how I see it right now. Yours probably looks a little bit different. I'll go into, look, I can view a student. Cool, huh? Now I'm going to see through your eyes. So here's where the news board where I told you about the Collaborate meeting today. I'm glad that most of you were able to find that. Here's the mandatory introduction for attendance purposes. If you emailed this to me, I need you to go back and reread this. Read it very carefully and follow the exact instructions. So I also work for the CPAs of Canada, as I told you guys before. And Ryan, why are you so strict about deadlines and like actually following instructions? Because in the CPA, they won't, if you don't do exactly what they ask you to do and follow their instructions, you just get zero. Like it's just the end of it. They're not gonna, there's no one for you to call. There's no one for you to cry to. There's no recourse. It's very important if you want to be an accounting person, right? If that's what you want to do as your job, you don't have to be particularly good at accounting or particularly good at auditing. You need to be able to answer emails and follow incredibly basic instructions, right? And Sandra's right. If you don't like deadlines, you're in entirely the wrong career, okay? And I don't know what career they don't adhere to deadlines on, but for CPA and for working as an accountant, like this is people's money. And there are deadlines that are set, and the expectations are high that you're going to meet those. And I have those same expectations, although a little more because I understand that people are in like second year. I'm not a monster, okay? I'm not a monster. If you are like, hey man, I really wanted to hand that thing in, but I had a baby, I would say, sure, that's fair. Just produce the baby, show me the baby, and then don't worry, I'll give you an extra, what do you need, 24 hours? It's probably fine, right? Look, I don't know anything about this. Get stuff in on time, okay? Also follow simple instructions. If the instructions aren't simple, because look, I'm in my own head about what's simple because like, oh, I've done this a million times. But if you're confused by anything in the instructions and you need me to elaborate, please do so. But as I read through the mandatory introduction for attendance purposes, I say, hey, you guys, I'm requiring students to submit an introduction in Microsoft Word to the assignments folder. And then I get it emailed to me. Then I'm like, did they read what I wrote? And also, are they going to read anything that I write from now on? It's very crucial in the accounting profession for you guys to pay attention to detail. Remember, it's people's money that you're working with. So attention to detail. This is a very detail-oriented job because people get sad if you're off by a couple decimal points with their money, right? They're sad if you're supposed to file their tax return by April 30th, but you file it by May the 8th, because that costs them also money. And then they're mad at you, and then they fire you, and then what happens to you? It's sad. So, guys, one more time, please read through the instructions. If you haven't done this yet, note that by the end of the day, if you haven't done it, you'll be dropped the course. And I don't want to do that to you because you all seem lovely, okay? I would like for everybody to stay in the course. So we'll do a quick, that's D2L, and that's not the entirety of D2L. Let's go to the course home because I was starting to talk about the course pack, and I had a question earlier about the course pack, so now I'm just going to jump right in there. So that's course home, and I'm going to go to tools now. Pardon me. I'm not a genius here. Accounting 240 tools, and this is, by the way, Collaborate. I assume that you guys all found this, but this is where you'll click in to come to your Collaborate meeting. So here are the tools. Calendar, that's the calendar where all the assignments and deadlines are. Class list. I don't know if you can access that or not. Look, content is the one that's really important. Why don't I show you this right now? This is assignments. If you emailed me, that was not what you were supposed to do. Here is what you're supposed to do, is click on mandatory introduction for monitoring attendance. Click. This is student view. Wow, I never see it like this. And then here are the actual instructions. People wrote me afterwards and they said, oh, I didn't realize there was a list of things I had to do. Okay. In Microsoft Word, brief introduction, answer the question, and then add the file, and then submit. And then you get to be in the course. And if you can't do this, then you don't get to be in the course. All right. So I'm going to go back to online tools, and then I'll go back to content. Here we are in D2L, the desire to learn platform. Here's the table of contents on the left. It's so nice. Here's the course outline. Guys, if you didn't read the course outline, here, and then the video, that's the link to the video that I'm walking through right now if you want to walk through it again, or if you, you can listen to this video again if you feel like it. And then there's a couple of videos down here, which I expect you guys, this is a video on net income for tax purposes. It's just a PDF document, actually, pardon me, that kind of sums up NITP. And then these are just some various procedures. This thing needs to be updated. So that's great. I'm going to go down here to course pack. That's the next thing. It's course pack. It's right here. Hey, it's the first thing under course. It's that document. So try clicking on it. Let's see what happens. I wonder what will happen. It's going to slowly load a giant PDF. Here it goes. And there it is, guys. It's the Accounting and Finance Department course pack. This is a 2020-21 edition prepared by some people. Okay, so guys, we're in chapter 1 right now. Next week's chapter 2. And then I think the week after that's chapter 2 also. If you're like, what should I be doing with my life? It should be, you should be reading all the chapter 2 stuff if you haven't read chapter 1 already. And you should be watching all the income from employment videos and all my intro videos. Hey, it's us. We did it. And then there's Brock right there. And then here's the course pack, all right? Blah, 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 blah. Look, World War I. It's the only thing interesting in there. So there's the course pack, guys. That's in D2L. That's the only textbook that you need. Underneath this are the solutions to all the questions in the course pack. Every chapter in the course pack has associated problems for you. Problems, problems, problems. Who can sleep with all the problems in the world? So if you scroll through chapter 1, let's say, scrolling through chapter 1, it talks about residency, talks about some deadlines. When do you have to file a tax return? Sometimes I put as a question on my exams, what's the deadline to file a tax return? And about 50% of the people get that right. I always find that surprising. Maybe take note of that. Here's net income for tax purposes. And then here's some questions. So here's where the problems start. And then a whole bunch of problems. We start off with some residency problems, some more residency problems, and then we get into some net income problems. If I have time today, I'll run through 1 or 2 net income problems. If I have time, I'm not promising anything. We'll see what happens. And then, oh, this one's interesting. It talks about types of income. Anyway, does that make sense? There's a whole bunch of problems in there. And then the solutions for the problems are all directly below the course pack. And I think they're in PDF format. Let's see. I didn't PDF these things. Kathy did it, so I haven't looked at them yet. I spent a good chunk of my summer, even while I was in updating these awesome problems. Okay, so yeah, there's the solutions for the course pack, right? Problem 2, why is that in bold? Ugh, that's annoying. Problem 3, etc. So that's where the course pack is. So I hope that answered the question that I had earlier. Are there questions about the course pack, you guys? Oh man, guys, chai tea latte, super good. Homemade. I'm running out of food here, by the way. Yeah, down to potatoes. 2 more days, guys. No questions about course pack? Course resources, anything like that? Please. One thing I'm in doubt, will you have the answer, but is the Camosun print shop open to print it off? Guys, I don't know the answer to that question. I really don't. Oh, good. Well, Claire knows the answer. I'm so glad Claire's here. Here's another way we can find out. It's I'm going to Google, is the Camosun print shop open? Let's see what we find out. Claire says it is. Your community printer, Camosun Print Services, Camosun. La 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 la. Print shop reopening on August the 27th. It says it's open. Yeah, and there's contact information on here as well. Here, look. I just Googled it and found out the answer. So contact the Interurban Print Shop or Lansdowne, whatever you're closest to. Look, there's a phone number. It says that their hours are, that they're open. So I would get in touch with those guys. Does that make sense? Give them a shout. Unfortunately, yeah, as an instructor, I'm usually really good with knowing things to instruct, but then some of the administrative stuff, because there's just so many emails that get thrown my way, I don't always know exactly what's happening from a logistics side, which is why these sessions are really helpful, because usually some of the students know the answers to those things. So cool, thanks Claire, and also thanks to Tristan for the question. Any more questions about course pack? Yeah, it's a PDF right now. If you do want a printed version, then by all means. Either through Camosun or, I don't know, can you go to Staples or something like that? Maybe you have a printer at home. I have no idea. Maybe you have a 3D printer. You can print a 3D version. Print me up a Millennium Falcon while you're at it, huh? Okay, so is there anything else we want to look at in D2L? There's a little section here on ethics. Kathy prepared some videos on ethics. Yeah, probably worth checking out. And then along the side, we have the various chapters, and they kind of correspond to the timeline that we're going to be approaching them in the course. Here's Intro to Taxation. So this is the first video I'd recommend that you watch if you haven't watched it yet, this Intro to Taxation link. And all this stuff is up on YouTube. So Intro to Taxation just starts is like literally that. What the hell is tax? Why are we doing it? Why are you making us do this? Do we have to do this? Why are we doing it? Yeah, I answer all those questions. And then there's a bunch of other different links here for the introductory topics to the course, all the chapter 1 topics, including net income for tax purposes and what that is. And maybe we'll have time to talk about that a little bit today. Who knows, okay? So those are all the videos. There's various resources here, and that's chapter 1. Chapter 2, here it is, employment income. This is what you're going to want to get to work on like this weekend or Monday or Tuesday, whenever. By the time we meet again, you're going to have all this employment income overview, T4 prep, employee self-employed, all these awesome videos here. There's also example videos in which we do problems. You need to spend 10 to 15 minutes of your life poking around D2L and figuring out where things are. There are a lot of resources in here, so you should also spend some time learning, well, which are the resources that are the best resources for me. I've prepared a ton of stuff for this, and Kathy Ross has also prepared a ton of stuff for the course. You should not run out of course resources. You might have a problem with paring them down. We tried to organize them into comprehensive little bites here, which is, this is all the employment income stuff, right? Here's depreciable property in CCA. That's going to be in 2 weeks from now. Property, capital gains, etc., and so on and so forth as we go through the course. What other online tools do we have here in D2L? So discussions. Hey guys, it's the discussion board. Do you have a question that you wanted to email me, and then you're like, well, maybe somebody else would want to know the answer to that question? I guarantee you guys, if you have a question, somebody else has the same question. I know you've heard that 900 times in your life, but my experience has been it is true, because I rarely get a one-off email about anything. So post stuff up here on the discussion boards, and I'm trying to monitor those things as frequently as I can, and so that I'm able to get back to you and provide as much help to all the students as possible without spending so much time writing individual emails to individual people, because that only helps one person. And I'd like to help all the people if I can with that time. That doesn't mean you can't email me. Of course you can. I feel so invalidated if people don't email me, so please. It's nice to see when I got an email. I'm providing some value to the world. The assignments folder I talked about already here in the tools. And the assignments folder, the first one that you're going to be handing in is that introduction. And then we've got, you can see the other projects here. Oh, I can't believe this GST project is open. I should close that down right now, because it doesn't, that's not due until December. So you can see these when the various projects open up. And then there'll be some instructions in there, and then you'll be able to complete those projects within, I don't know, it looks like you get a couple weeks to complete the projects. Those projects, if you're spending more than 2 hours on the projects, you're probably watching a movie at the same time, because there's not a lot going on with those things. The T1 project takes like 4 to 6 hours, and the other projects are like an hour. How it would take you an hour to fill out a GST return is beyond me, but I mean, that's coming from someone who barely understands GST. So, okay, let's see. What else is in here? Yeah, email me through here. That'd be nice. Grades, blah, quizzes. Hey, it's the optional quizzes, guys. You don't have to do them. Will I ever know if you do them? I don't care if you do them or not. I want you to do them to do well. And to that extent, I do care because like I like when people are happy, and I would love to give out 70 A pluses. If you guys earn 70 A pluses, guess what's happening? I'm giving out A pluses. What's the school going to do about it? I got a union job. They can't fire me. Okay. So if you earn the marks, you get the marks. That said, there are no marks for the quizzes, but the more stuff you practice, the more you're going to know, the better you're going to perform on an exam. So I encourage people to check out those quizzes. All right. That's all I have for D2L. I'm going to go back into my little PowerPoint, and I'm going to try and finish this off. Then I'll take questions, and then if there's still time, I don't know. I'll figure out what I'm going to do. I might walk through a problem. Okay, so course pack. Okay. So you're going to have to do a lot of practice problems. The exams are not going to be, there's nothing on an exam that's ever going to be a trick question or a surprise. The exams are going to be exactly like the problems that you've seen. So if you've done all the problems and practiced them, the exam will be the exact same way. Guys, tax is something that if you learn the theory for it and understand it deeply, that's beneficial to you. But if you can't figure it out, you can just memorize how to do a lot of it. I would never encourage anyone to do that, but I want to offer it to you as like a plan B. Like all these questions follow like simple formulas at this stage. It gets more complicated in the future, but right now, not so much. So the projects, I talked about them. They're super short. They're super easy, worth a total of 10%. Like I said, I'll give you the marks if you make a reasonable attempt. Okay. If there's a bunch of stuff wrong, then I start to take off marks. Okay. They have to be in by the deadline. I'm not going to accept late projects. You're going to have 2 weeks to do something that should take you maximum 2 hours. If you can't get your S together in that time, and the way it happens is people will leave it for 12 days and then they'll have an emergency. I gave you 14 days so that if an emergency happened, you would have done it in time. So it is more than enough time to do the data entry for these things. And there's always people who are going to, as soon as it's released, it'll be handed in within an hour. And those people then can relax. And then there's always going to be people who will hand it in with 5 minutes to go. And there's nothing I can do to prevent that other than to say that if you try to hand it in late, it's not going to be accepted. Okay, and it's 2 or 3%, and then like, little slap on the wrist, you learn your lesson, everybody moves on. But if I just, every single time people hand something in late, I'm like, oh, it's okay, you just don't do it again. It just creates like a terrible precedent, and people just hand stuff in late the next time. So hand stuff in late, you gotta take the medicines. And we've had this discussion. It's not a surprise conversation. No one should be alarmed if late assignments aren't marked. Okay. So the profile tax return, look, you're just going to complete a personal tax return way later in the course. It's going to be via profile, 10% of your mark. I will detail mark that to a large extent. Usually people do pretty good. I don't know. More information about that to come. The exams, okay, you're going to have 1 2-hour midterm. It's going to be on October the 29th at 12:30 p.m. That's when it is. So those of you who are mentioning that you have work that you have to go to, super stuff, okay? You should be, what is it, the 10th of September? Give your work a heads up. Tell them, hey, work, in 7 weeks from now, I'm going to need to take a long lunch. And if your work's like, no, be prepared to sneak away from your work. Tell them you have horrible diarrhea and sneak away for 2 hours and take your exam. Okay? That's when the exam is. The exam's at that time. I can't offer multiple sections of the exam. The reason being, yeah, good one, right? The reason being is that I don't have multiple exams. It takes a long time to write an exam in addition to all the other weird stuff I have to try and learn how to do. And we just don't have 50 exams. Once the exam is out there, then people have it and they could share that information with others. So that's when the exam is, okay? If you miss the exam for whatever reason, you're gonna have to provide some, and you still wanna continue with the course, you're gonna have to require the requisite medical accreditation for that, meaning you're gonna have to get a doctor's note. Then, instead of you being allowed to write the exam again, you're not going to be able to do that. I'm just going to make your final exam worth 80% of your mark. Does that sound better or worse? There'll be some people who end up doing this. Okay. Sure. I mean, knock yourself out. Go get your doctor's note, Tristan. But you really want an 80% final exam on something you've never been examined on before? Hey, roll the dice, buddy. I love it. I love it. Go for it. Doesn't matter to me, as long as I get my rent paid on Friday. All right. Your strategy in the course. If you want to go ahead and forge medical documentation so that you can write an 80% final exam, cool, bro. Okay, so your midterm's going to be on these specific chapters in the course pack. And Tristan, I'm joking around with you. It's funny, okay? I'm not taking notes like this guy Tristan is gonna like try and do bad things. No, 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 no. So those are the chapters it's going to be on. Let's see. Final exam. It's going to be 3 hours long. I think I'm going to reserve some right to make it like 5 hours long, or maybe 6 hours long. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. It's so far away. I don't know what I'm going to do with the final exam, but it's going to be during. The second I figure it out, I'll let you know. But I don't even know what date it is supposed to fall on yet because we haven't been assigned that. That's how it works here, guys. We don't, as instructors, have that information usually until October when our final exams are supposed to be. Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens with that. But that's when it's gonna be. But you won't have to be physically present. So if you want to say write your exam from I don't know Tahiti, what am I going to do to stop you? But you just have to make sure that you've got an internet connection and a webcam, or at least some kind of camera available to you. And people were surprised to learn that they needed a webcam. Well, I was surprised too, guys. So again, exams have to be written on the date schedule. And we're not changing that. The exams are going to be conducted. I had a question about Proctorio before. So here's everything I know about Proctorio. It's a software developed to help prevent academic dishonesty that we're trying to use to help prevent academic dishonesty. It's a software that none of us as instructors had ever used before until I want to say this summer. Now, I wasn't working this summer. I was bouncing around Norway, so I haven't used Proctorio. I don't know the first thing about it. I got mixed reviews from the instructors that I talked to. I've gotten mixed reviews from students. And look, here's a mixed review from Carly. She says it's not as scary as it sounds. Well, I like to hear that. Why can't that be the same for certain medical examinations? That'd be great. It seems pretty ineffective. Yeah, maybe it is ineffective. Tristan, what would you like us to do? Sure, I don't know what an input loop is. I don't know what that means, all right? If people want to come on to the chat and tell me how easy it is to circumvent academic dishonesty software, I'm going to start actually writing that down and make note of how easy it is to circumvent academic dishonesty software. Tristan, do you have any suggestions on how we conduct the exams with any kind of rigor? Because I don't, right? This is not something that I don't know what the expectation is of the average student for the average instructor, but you know, we know like slightly more than you guys do, and we're all just trying to get through to the end of the day, just like you. Arena space 6 foot apart. I don't know. It's just recording people is kind of strange. Yeah, I'm sure it is kind of strange. I'm not crazy about any of this, like anything at all. But if they're, you know, so Carly, yeah, arena space 6 foot apart. Yeah, I mean, do you think that the community college has the money to book the arenas? I think getting the conference space would be difficult. Plus, can you imagine like the amount of personnel you need to bring people in and out? Like, it's just it's not feasible. And then what happens if there's an outbreak at that? Well, we're effed because there's all sorts of lawsuits coming our way. We don't need that. So we are scrambling to keep up, and we also are a school that's on a very tight budget, guys. I know that you guys think that your tuition is like exorbitantly expensive, but you guys pay nothing relative to what some other countries pay, and certainly some other institutions. So what is it, 300 bucks a course or something like that? The college runs on a bare bones budget. There is not like there wasn't just this like huge like Scrooge McDuck style money bin of extra cash sitting around that we're like, oh, we have to teach online. Well, let's throw money at the instructors and teach them how to do things and give them awesome technology. Guys, like my headset, this is what was provided by the college for me in addition to a loaner laptop because my laptop did not meet the minimum requirements to deliver this content. So Proctorio is, look, this software, you guys are going to have to write some tiny little exam on how to use it. It sounds like based on people's experience, it wasn't that bad. Whether it's effective or not, I don't know or care. All I know is that this is what we're going to run with and we're going to see how it goes because we're all doing this. You guys realize that we didn't have a contingency policy for what happened if there was a global pandemic. We do not know how to conduct these things and we're all trying. So any feedback you guys have is certainly helpful. It's going to be a learning process going forward. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we're going to be back to regular class in January? What are you guys' thoughts on this? I don't have any inside information. I literally do not. Yeah, so Heather knows more than I do. I think there is no way in hell we're going to be back in January. and I think this is something we're going to have to get used to. So it's going to be the struggle is going to be real for all of us, guys, including your instructor here. So let's just try and be patient going through it. I've never used Proctorio before, but I'm very confident I'm going to be able to learn how to do it. You guys are going to be able to learn how to do it too. 2022, and if we're lucky, vaccine comes out and actually works. Yeah, that'd be cool. Here, look, I'm just hoping that I can make it till April, and then I can actually go on my year-long world trip, which if it ends up just me sitting in Tahiti for a year, I think I can handle it. So guys, that's Proctorio. More information to come. Thankfully, we don't need to use it until the end of October, so it's going to give us a lot of time to learn about it and be able to deliver it effectively, and so that everybody's happy and everybody does whatever they need to do. But my understanding is at minimum, you're going to need some kind of a webcam device. If you don't have that on your current setup, you need to get in touch with BizTech, with our business technology department at the college, and request these materials. You can request a laptop, and pardon me, you can request a laptop loaner, and you can request a webcam, a loaner webcam if you do not have a webcam. Now, how you would have a laptop that doesn't have a webcam year 2020, that's so cool that you have a laptop from the year 1997. That's amazing. Cool. But I recognize that some people may not. Maybe some people have a PC. I don't know, man. We didn't expect this. So if you can get a webcam, that'd be great. Okay, look into that between now and, I don't know, a couple weeks from now when I bring this up again. Exams are closed book, and they're going to be timed, and yeah, you can use, there'll be a reference sheet that you guys can look at. I'm not going to make you memorize like a million things, and I'll let you use a specific reference sheet that will be available to you, and that'll be all. All right, exam questions. Oh my gosh, look, where does the time go, guys? It goes to me rambling. I ramble if people don't cut me off, so you guys should definitely learn to cut me off. Questions about exams? Serious? No questions about exams? Will the quizzes aren't marked. Okay, no more questions about the exams? Okay, on we go. Guys, how should I organize my time each week? This must be weird for you guys. I'm asking myself the same question. How am I, as an instructor who's used to a regimented time frame, coming to class, preparing in my office, you know, working on my various videos, how am I going to prepare from on a week-to-week basis? Well, here's what I think you should do. Check the course outline. Hey, it's Sunday night, I better check that course outline. What am I supposed to be reading? It says in the course outline what exactly you're supposed to be reading. You should read that stuff. Are there any deadlines this week? Guys, there's not very many deadlines in the course. You can check the calendar on D2L. And if you don't like that, put all the deadlines. There's 4 projects, and there's a midterm and a final. Is that it? There's 6 deadlines in the course. Why not take 5 minutes and put them in your Google Calendar or your Outlook or whatever form of electronic media you use to organize your time? Are you not organizing your time electronically yet? Oh, okay. Wow. Well, how are you organizing your time? Paper. Cool. Well, write it down on paper then. I'm not judging. Okay. I'm not judging. Paper is something that is easily lost and doesn't translate like to various different locations. But if you have a calendar in front of you, write down those dates. Paper works. If it works for you, then that's perfect. You can judge. My programmer fiance does XD. I don't know what XD is, so there you go. I'm somewhere between technologically adept and technologically useless. I'm on that spectrum, right? Stone and chisel. Yeah, there you go. I write down my appointments in blood that I draw from a, oh, never mind. So put the 6 deadlines for the course in whatever form of thing you use to remember dates in the future, all right? And I'm going to positively encourage whatever way that you're going about that. But if you haven't switched over to like electronic management of time, if you're actually wanting to work as an accountant at some point in the future, you're going to need to do that. There is 0% chance you're going to be able to manage your time in like paper format, at least in my estimation, but I'm wrong about a lot of things. So maybe get used to it. Now's a good time. So read the chapter, watch the videos for the week. I can't make you watch the videos, but I'm encouraging you to watch the videos for the week. You'll be so sick of my voice. You're sick of my voice already. You've been here for not even an hour and a half. You're gonna be so sick of listening to me. by the end of this thing. Is it getting sunny in here? Ooh. Okay, so do the weekly problems. If you don't do the problems and practice the problems before you go to the exam, you will fail. You won't pass the course. You have to practice the problems. If you don't do that, I don't know how you expect to pass the exams. It's not a thing that's going to happen to you. You must practice, all right? I'll try and get a practice midterm up for you guys within a couple weeks of when the midterm's happening, right? I will try and get that to you. So you won't be like, oh my God, I'm so surprised. Oh no, I'm scared. What's going to happen to me? You won't, I don't want to surprise you or trick you, okay? And once you attempt the problems, go through the solutions. And look, here's a hot piece of advice that I give my CPA students as well. Yeah, do the problem, do a terrible job at it, right? Like, don't be afraid to do a really lousy job the first time you attempt one of the problems. Then go and look at the solution. And instead of looking at the solution and saying to yourself, that's cool, I'll get it next time. No, actually fix the problem on the spot. Go back and rewrite the whole thing. Then that's how it sinks into your brain. Not by like glancing over the solution and being like, yeah, got it. Experience says you don't got it. And then you've got the optional quiz, guys. This is going to be the 10th time in this class that I say this. The quizzes are optional. The next person who asks me if the quizzes are optional or not, I'm going to say that they're for marks and I'm going to let them figure it out. Okay? The quizzes are optional. Guys, I really love my job and I highly encourage you guys to, once you're done with all this, instead of working like a job as an accountant where you're bound to the desk all day, teach at a college. It's the best. Okay, I really do like it. It's so fun. So, I don't know why I put this little stinger in here. I have zero tax experience. How can I be successful in accounting 240? How? Of course you can, Jimmy. Of course you can. Just read the whole thing. Don't skim the stuff. Give yourself the best possible chance to succeed in this course, okay? Obviously, you can watch the videos as much time as you want. When I say don't spend too much time on your first try, man, when you go through a problem for the first time, you're expected to do a terrible job. People get so butthurt if they like try something and fail at it. What? You can't be scared to fail at something that you're doing on your own time when there are no stakes. Yes, failing an exam is suboptimal. But doing work on your own and doing poorly at it the first time around is the expected learning process, especially in tax. So don't get too down. If you go through it and do a bad job the first time, go back and look at the solution. Try it again. If you're like, I still got no idea what I'm doing, hey, reach out to me and to us on the discussion board or send me an email or try and set up some kind of a nice little get-together time that you and I can meet for, an office hour, whatever we want to call it, okay? I will make myself available to you guys if you are looking for me to be available. But this is the one weekly meeting time. In any given week that we are scheduled, it is going to be on this Thursday, every Thursday at 12:30. Now, once in a while, maybe I'll say, hey guys, I'm going to run through this problem at this time on a Tuesday. You probably can't make it. Fine. I'm going to show up. I'll be there. Those of you who can make it, great. If you can't, I'll just record it. You're not being disadvantaged in any way if I call an impromptu, problem session and you can't make it. I'm just going to record it. You can watch it later on, okay? It's not like to the specific advantage of those people who can show up. I'm just doing my best to try and make as many resources available to everybody as I can. Just a squirrel trying to get a nut here, guys. You know what I mean? So fix your responses. Don't miss the deadlines. Sometimes, what do you mean by saying don't spend too much time on your first try? Well, what I mean is you should try the problem. What's important is to make an attempt at the problem, all right? If you spend 3 hours going through and trying a problem that should only take 20 minutes, that's not time that's well spent. You should try it and not be afraid to fail at it. Write anything down. At least start the process. Then, after you've spent 20 minutes on something and you put in your best effort, then go to the solution and have a look at it. Or do individual research on individual elements of taxation that you didn't understand. That's what I mean. What I mean is don't spin your wheels. This is going to be a hard course, and there are going to be concepts that immediately don't jump out at you. So if you're attempting a problem, and it's a long one, right, and you're spending 3 hours, 6 hours, whatever, that's not your time. That's not you spending your time very well. Spend your time in the most efficient way. Take a crack at the problem and be perfectly content that you're going to do the problem terribly the first time. And I'm being as soft as I can with using the term terrible. You're going to do some of these problems and you are going to do terribly at them. That's the process. Do not be discouraged. You are not the first. You are not the only one in your class. In fact, it's everyone who is just going to be struggling with this from the get-go because it's a new concept, it's a completely new subject matter, and you don't have any experience with it. So just be cool with that. If in week 12 you're still just doing terribly at things, then we should talk. If in week 3 you're still struggling to come up with a process, then we should also talk then. When we can't talk is December 15th, when you've written the exam, failed it, and you come to me and say, hey, I just need 10 more percent. Or I just need 3 more percent. Ryan, if you give me 3 more percent, I'll pass the course, and then I will be able to take the next course, and then I won't get kicked out of the country, or I won't lose my scholarship. I will never change your grade after the exam. It's never happening, okay? We can't meet in person. There's no way to do that. There's no way. I don't even know how you would dispute something. I don't know what that process is like. But if you are asking me, if I've marked and graded your paper fairly, and then you're going to say, like, can you bump up my grade by 3%? I'm going to save you guys the time and the embarrassment of having to ask me. No, I'm not bumping your grade up. The grade at the end of the semester is the grade that you got, okay? That said, I always appreciate those students who take a very active role in attempting to learn a subject. And I also accept that it is a challenging course. If I'm seeing your face, and not just your face, but like I'm seeing you participate in these, like already there's about 5 people whose names I've got because they asked me a ton of questions, or at least they just made funny little remarks, and like that's interaction. The rest of you are ghosts to me, right? So at the end of the semester, somebody's like a percentage point away, but they came to every single session, or at least most of them. They sent me emails, they posted discussion board postings, and then I inclined to round up. If you're a ghost to me, I don't know you from anybody. What am I rounding up for? It's not a thing that's going to happen, right? This is very common practice, right? And don't convince yourself that anything else is true. You get the grade that you earned, but if you're close and you've put in like a ton of effort into the course, then okay, then then we see. But I'm never bumping something up by like 2%. That's not a thing that happens. Now, I don't care if you're like the best student in the entire class. You tried so hard and you showed up to every single one of these things and asked me 50. I can't just give you arbitrary grades based on, spunk or whatever you want. All right, so put yourself in the best possible position to succeed at the course by practicing and not getting too far behind. You've got tons of free time. What are you doing? You're at home all day. You don't have to come to class. All that time you would have spent commuting, you can spend watching these boring videos and practicing these boring problems. All right. All right. So that's what I meant. Lu Zhao, thank you for the question. If you're struggling, contact me. Yeah, sure. So if you're struggling, contact me. Don't contact me, like I said, after the final exam. Guess what? It's too late. It's too late. If you're struggling 3 weeks in, yeah, reach out. We'll chat. Okay? Okay. So, good luck. Oh, look, there's Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's no such thing as luck. And I agree with Obi-Wan Kenobi. There is no such thing as luck. You make your own luck. Stuff that happens in life is just a series of random events, one after the other. But you make your own luck. You make things go well for yourself by working hard. You're not going to luck your way into a good mark in this course. You can work your way into an awesome mark in this course. Okay, that's it for that little PowerPoint presentation. And I see it's 2:01. Do I have this card? No. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen. Guys, my face, is it like, am I in the middle of your screen? Is it just like a big picture of my face? God, brutal. Oh, God, I hope you guys aren't on some HD screen or something like that. You want to put your resolution to like minimum so that it blurs out, the scars of old age. Because for me, I'm in the corner and I'm in a tiny little box and I can't even see what I look like. So I could have all sorts of things in my teeth or my nose could be running. Anyway, 480p, that's great. That's what I'm looking for. My eyes burn. What? Ouch. Ow. Ow. Really? Look, eyes so old to young eyes. Boy, oh boy. Okay, so let's see. Courseback walkthrough NITP. Folks, now is the time where I'm opening up the session to all of your questions. I think I put on like audio here. None of you have joined me via audio, I don't think. No session settings. You can share audio if you want. Do you want to ask me a question? Are you scared? Don't be scared. Ask a question or type out a question. I'm going to sit here and relax. Yeah. Sit here, just chill out and relax while you guys ask questions. You guys got questions? Come on, guys, questions? You seriously have no questions about the entire course? Okay, so if that's the case, I'll wait here for a few minutes, and if that's the case, great. You guys need to get that introduction assignment to me into the assignment box, okay? Put it into the assignment folder, and that way you will reserve your space in the course. If I do not get it by midnight tonight, you will be dropped from the course. You're not emailing me, you're not posting in a discussion, you are putting it in the assignments folder, okay? Once you've done that, you've now seen the course introduction and outline. We've talked through that quite a bit. I would say read the course outline again and then get started on all the week 1 learning. Read chapter 1, okay, and then get onto all the week 1 videos. The net income for tax purposes video, the introduction to tax video, those residency videos. They're not very long. Hopefully they're not too complicated, and then start posting questions on the discussion board if you're confused about anything. If you find errors or what you assume to be an error in our course pack, hey, send me a question about it. I'll post it on the discussion board. If I did make an error, which is possible, it happens. Like, don't spin your wheels, all right? If you think that something might be an error, if you can't figure something out, fire questions my way. Are there really no other questions, guys? Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to offer you like positive words of encouragement or something. Here's Boba. Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Anything? What's the craziest place you've been? It depends on what constitutes crazy to you, because we all have, specific definitions of crazy. I'm gonna go ahead. I think most people would consider North Korea to be the craziest place that I've ever been. In that, the government system there is inarguably crazy. I went there for 5 days on a guided tour from Beijing, and this was back in 2000, I want to say 9, where Kim Jong Il was the leader. Look, if you look over on my wall, way over there, see that poster? It says "Welcome to Pyongyang." I don't know if you can quite see it, but it says "Welcome to Pyongyang," and there's Korean writing. I got that in Pyongyang, which is the capital city of North Korea. And I went to something called the Mass Games, and that was interesting. So yeah, it was wild to be there, like absolutely wild. So great question, Christian. Thanks for that. We will be tested on ethics. I didn't find any questions on it in the course pack. Your question on ethics, yeah, I'm going to question you on it. I'm going to leave $20 outside of your house, and then I'm going to see what you do with it. Are you going to try and find the rightful owner, or are you going to keep it for yourself and spend it on things for you? No, the answer is no. How can I test you on ethics, right? I'm not funny. That's the sad part, is I'm not funny at all. Carson, good question. I can't really test you on ethics, right? Your whole career is going to be an ethical test, and where people are going to try and say, hey, let's try and get away with something. You're going to have to answer whether or not that's right or wrong. So it's true. There are a lot of ethical questions that come up in the accounting profession, a lot. So I really recommend that you, look, Kath put the time together to make those videos. You should check them out. I can't ask you a yes or no question on ethics because it's a sliding scale, right? I would love to just make it an ethical course. Cool. Thanks, Carson. Guys, I like these questions. Keep firing them away. How excited are you for Mandalorian Season 2? On a scale of 1 to 10, like 7.8. Sure. I mean, The Mandalorian's a good show. I thought it was entertaining. Maybe I'll do a video on that on my little YouTube channel. I'll do a how excited am I for The Mandalorian Season 2, or just a general Mandalorian discussion. I liked it. I liked the robot. How do you feel about Rey being unstable for no reason? I don't have a lot of feedback for you guys on the sequel trilogy. Not into it. You'll see all the toys behind me. If you were to look at them, none of them are sequel trilogy and none of them are prequel trilogy. They're all OT. And I just, ooh, $450 Cantina set coming out today. Yeah, I don't know. I have no, honestly, I have no stuff for Ray there. There's a whole subject of ethics for CFA though, pretty basic stuff. Yeah, no, for CFA they do test you on ethical stuff. And I'm not saying ethical stuff isn't important. It's incredibly important. There's just no good way for me to test it in a tax course. So it's in there, the video is in there. I'm not going to test you on like specific ethical models and philosophical ethical reasoning. I would love to do that. Once in a while, guys, I'll put a bonus question on the exam, and the bonus question will literally be something like, tell me something I don't know. And then people will be like, oh, this is a trick question. I better come up with something related to tax that this guy doesn't know. Okay, there's nothing about tax that you know that I don't know. Okay, it's just like an esoteric question to see if you can fog up a mirror. So like, a good response to that would be like, my cat's name is Mittens. I didn't know that, right? It's just to see if like, do you have an ounce of, I don't know, of life to you that's not tax related. So watch for a bonus question on any exam that has nothing to do with tax. Don't make it tax related or you won't get the mark. I'd like to know about you guys as human beings that's not tax related. So cool. Yeah. Anything else, guys? I can do this all day. All I'm doing the rest of the day is making more videos for you guys. So despite the fact that it's a gorgeously sunny day, I'm not allowed to go anywhere. Any questions about the course, guys? This is our time together. Imagine the whole exam is bonus questions. Yeah, you know what? I could do that and you'd still have people failing. One time my bonus question was, if you couldn't live in Canada or the country you were born in, where would you want to live? And 20% of the people wrote Canada. What do you want me to do? So yeah, I still think you'd have people not passing if it was just merely bonus questions. So it won't be, there'll be one bonus question. It'll be a free mark and you just have to write something down. It used to be like, can you draw a picture of a shark butt? But I don't know how we're going to do that online. So, you know, it'll just be a fun question. Anything else you guys have for me at all? Please, anything. Tax related or not. Those of you who are still here, like, I don't have any more specific lectures to do and this is supposed to end at 2:20. So look, I'm not going to keep you, but if anything else, anybody has anything else they want to get into at all, do you want to ask me more about Star Wars? I don't care. I got 10 more minutes with you, so anything course related or non-course related, I'm here for you guys. Guys, you're making it awkward. It's so quiet. It's like we're in this room and I'm up in front of the class and I'm like, anybody, is anybody here? Bueller. There are some CR related PDF in every chapter. Yes, that's correct. Those CRA related materials are to assist you with the preparation of tax returns, right? So the CRA stuff is very technical and extremely boring and not really conceptual. That stuff is meant, what is CRA? CRA is the Canada Revenue Agency. It's the agency that works on behalf of the government to collect taxes. If you watch the Introduction to Taxation video, I talk about the CRA in there somewhat. The Canada Revenue. So it's where in Canada, it's where we pay our taxes to. They don't write, CRA doesn't write tax law. The federal government writes tax law. The CRA are like the police for federal tax law, and they basically enforce tax legislation. So when you submit your taxes, you submit them to the Canada Revenue Agency, and that's the CRA in a nutshell. But go watch the video that I made, or you can definitely Google who the CRA are. And they've got exhaustive resources. There are a lot of CRA resources that I've put on the course website for you that will be of general use to you for presumably filling out those projects when we do it, but also they have general information there that's helpful. It's just sometimes it's a little bit legalese. It lacks any sort of personality, the information that the CRA have. The CRA. More questions, folks? Tax is scary. Don't be scared of tax, though. Okay? It's scary to most people. It shouldn't be scary to you. It's just money that we collect. Government collects the money so that in Canada we can use it to pay for, I don't know, various services that we all enjoy, like the roads or military, or hey, do you guys like going to the bathroom? Sure you do. Well, where do you think the plumbing system comes from? Is that just something that you individually paid for? No, that stuff is paid for by generally municipal taxes. So taxes are helpful. Anybody else? We're losing people slowly. They're dropping off. I don't have anything else for you. So if you'd like to leave, that's fine. But if you have questions, don't pretend like I wasn't here for your questions, because we know that's not true. I'll have video proof of this. Want to see some more Lego? This is a B-Wing from Return of the Jedi. Okay, so what is the meaning of deferred taxes? Deferred taxes is not a topic that we're going to get into in this course at all. But the word defer means to put something off until later, and the word tax means, to levy a tax. So it just means putting taxes off until later. So that's what a tax deferral is. And it's not in this course, Lou. We're not going to cover anything to do with deferred taxes. The best Bond actor, you mean the best actor to portray James Bond? Like, who's the best actor? The answer to that is Timothy Dalton. But Daniel Craig's a decent actor too. Anything else? No, I'm not a nerd. And now D&D just never grabbed me. No, I don't play board games or role-playing games. I don't play video games ever. I did when I was your age, and I don't do it now. Because what I found about playing video games is that it really sucked up a lot of my life. And then if I was looking to project attractive qualities to a mate, like, here are the cool things that I can do, there's not one female that I ever met who was like, oh, you play video games? Cool. I'm not saying you are a nerd. I'm saying that's awesome. I think D&D is super fun. I'm jealous that I don't know how to do it. Esports players make millions. That's great. Good. I'm so glad that esports players. What are you doing here, Tristan? Why are you learning to become an accountant? You're never going to make millions as an accountant. I can promise you guys right there. Amrita, I didn't call you a nerd. I'm not saying D&D people are nerds, by the way. I think that's totally awesome. Okay, if you want to play D&D. Is there a pin behind you somewhere you've gone or want to go? The pins are all places that I've gone, but a lot of them fell out because this fell on the ground. Pins are all places I've gone. So yeah, look, if you want to make millions, don't become an accountant, guys. If you want to make a good living, that's like a good middle class, quote unquote, whatever that means, job, then accounting is the designation for you. Okay. If you want to make millions of dollars, investment banking, but that doesn't mean go work at a bank, because that's a lame job. No offense to anyone who's like, as a bank teller, like, it has you plateau really quickly, super quickly. What do you mean I haven't been to the Middle East? What are you talking about? I've been to Jordan, I've been to Israel, I've been to Syria, I've been to the United Arab Emirates, I've been to Iran. I think that covers off the Middle East pretty okay. Is there somewhere in the Middle East that I should be going? Where would you recommend that I go? I wanted to go to Saudi Arabia. They don't really want me going there. So where do you want me to go? I'm nailing it on the Middle East, crushing it. Oh, I meant Lebanon. Sorry, I forgot. What, Saudi Arabia? What would I do in Saudi Arabia? I can't go to Mecca, right? It's like 50 degrees there. I'd love to go to Saudi Arabia. I think it'd be so cool. What kind of music do I listen to? James Bond theme songs. I like music with synthesizers, primarily synthesizers, all synthesizers all the time. Also Radiohead. Covered major countries in the East. Dana Imad Edin Al-Samam. I have been to at least 5 Middle Eastern countries. I've been to India, Simranji. I've been to Turkey also. So, come on. I just listed UAE, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Turkey, Iran, Israel. That's 8 Middle Eastern countries. I think I win. And I loved India. It's so fun. I just did a movie review on a James Bond movie set in India. Go watch that. It's great. Any other questions that you guys have, travel or tax related? Anything. I love travel questions. I could do this all day. Dana, where should I go in the Middle East? Favorite place? Have you listened to Babu Man? I think I have, actually. I haven't been to Egypt. That's true. Yeah, I was going to go on my world trip actually, because I was supposed to be on a world trip right now. And actually, I would have been to Egypt already. So yeah, that's on the list. Okay, I mean, okay, I'll go to Egypt. Favorite place I've been to is Nepal. Nepal. I hiked through the Himalayas for a month, and it was amazing. Is just the greatest. I made some really good friends. This was in 2006 that I met a guy there who was one of my best friends, and I just saw him a month ago in Norway. Like I just hiked through the mountains for a month. Like it was incredible. Which song you listened of him? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I'm sure I've heard Babu Man. Okay, but you know what? I'll put him on a Spotify playlist, and then I'll get up to speed by the next time we talk. Okay. All right, Simran. You give me some suggestions. I'll check it out. Give me some suggestions. Email me some, send me a Spotify playlist or something. Okay. So we're definitely losing people now, which is great. You guys are welcome to go. I've been to Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, Iraq, Saudi, and Kuwait. That's almost as good as me. Almost. You have to understand that travel is a little bit more difficult in some of those countries if you're from the West. So Iraq, I don't know what I'm getting out of going to Iraq right now. Saudi, maybe someday. The rest of those places, yeah, Kuwait, what am I doing in Kuwait? There has to be something there that's a draw to me. But yeah, I mean, Egypt I'm really down with. And I loved Syria and Jordan. I really enjoyed visiting those places. Cool, we'll play next time. Guys, those of you who want to leave, you can leave. I'm Syrian, raised in Kuwait. Cool. Well, I've been to Syria. Been to Damascus. I've been to, oh my God, I went to Palmyra, which I think got destroyed by ISIS. I've been to, God, I've got pictures around all over the place of Syria. I've been to a lot of different places in Syria. And I can't remember them all right now. So that's great. Anybody else? Anybody else sick of hearing about all the places I've been in the Middle East? Sure. Anyone have any tax questions? Any course-related questions? I'm going to stop recording, okay? And if people want to sit around and chit-chat for another 5 minutes, that's totally fine. But I'm going to stop the recording on this thing now, okay? So great job, everybody. We'll see you next